Go ahead and close your eyes. Allow your shoulders to relax away from your ears. Allow your muscles in your face to droop down. Unclench your jaw. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Go ahead and open up your eyes. Hello and welcome back to Mindful Moves. My name is Dans and I am so happy to have you back here this week, especially for this episode because I think that it's one of the most important things while we're walking this earth to learn and embrace. And a lot of the time when I speak about self-love, or if you think about the word self-love, notice what comes up for you. Some people envision this means I'm going to tell you to go in front of a mirror and say that I love you in front of a mirror. But although that's a good practice, there's other ways to support the idea of self-love and to really embrace self-love on its own. And I think it goes all the way back into the roots of what we believe about relationships. So a lot of the time we will associate, if I ask you now, what's a fundamental of a relationship? What is a key aspect? A lot of people will say trust. And this is very true. It's a huge component, and without it, it's very difficult to have a functional, healthy, confident relationship. You don't really feel confidence in it, whether it's your romantic partner or a friend or family member. You want to know that you can trust them. That knowing makes you feel good about the relationship, makes you feel good about anything you tell them, anything you share with them, and just general peace in the relationship. So why is it we don't apply that to ourselves? Knowing that you are going to follow through on something is truly the most beautiful act of love. When you're developing habits, I feel like it's so easy to look on the outside. It's easy to say, well, I've never actually been someone who follows through. I've never done this. I've always had a job and I listen to what my boss says, or I've had parents and I listen to what they say. But how often is it we show up for ourselves? It's very easy to get told, okay, you need to be at work at 7 a.m. and if you're late 3 times in a row, then you're out of here. Most of us would be there on time. So why is it when we tell ourselves, okay, I really want to regulate my nervous system, I'm going to start doing breath work every day for 5 minutes? Why is it that we abandon ourselves in that moment? And I think a lot of it comes back down to your word. And a lot of the time we prioritize other people above what we truly desire and what we want. And this has been something that I've really been implementing more into my life, and in a way that makes it feel good. I used to look at the word discipline and think, wow, I don't know if that word gives me a good feeling, like I'm not disciplined and I don't think I ever will be. And I started transforming it into realizing that it's an act of self-love. When I go into my day, today is actually a perfect example. I have had a tough day and I told myself I was going to record this episode because that's what I wanted to achieve today. And I could have been wallowing. I could be wallowing right now, having a tough day, doing what felt good in the moment. And I've done enough of that in the past to know that it only satisfies you to a certain point. But then you need to pull yourself out and say, you know what, I promised myself that I'm going to do this. And I know how I feel after I do this. I feel elated, not only because I'm sharing something like this, but I feel amazing because I said I did what I said I'm going to do. And that builds so much confidence. I feel a lot of the time we are so focused on confidence on the outside. And of course, that's good. If that makes you happy, that's no problem at all. I think the focus is that we're trying to build confidence from the inside out. So what better way than to honor what you say you're going to do? And this is why I think discipline has now become one of my closest friends, because I look at discipline and I think, okay, I respect myself. I respect myself and trust myself enough to do something. And that's why it's difficult in the beginning to develop habits, because so often we will firstly just do something so hard or we'll do something too hectic all at once. So let's say you wanted to start breath work and you wanted to do 1 hour of breath work with an instructor every day or 4 times a week. Something as unrealistic as that, starting from scratch, can really be demotivating. And it's difficult to have a level of discipline through that time. What's so much more efficient is to make one small promise to yourself every day and live up to that. The holistic psychologist on Instagram, she's a firm believer in this, and that's where I started this. I made one promise to myself every day, and I kept it. And mine was drinking a glass of water when I wake up. That's how simple it was. It was something so simple, but I learned to build this trust with myself that when I do say I'm going to do something, I did it. So I want you to approach that in your form of habit changes, because you will now figure out that you've been making it very hard for yourself. You've been making it harder than it has to be. We like to rush in and jump in, and what is so much more efficient is actually doing it slower, slowing down, taking your time. That's why we're doing 1 month of breath, 1 month of movement, and separating them. And a lot of people will say, oh, but that will take too much time. And where will I find the time? And oh, that seems a bit long. Do you not have a quick fix? And of course, I mean, yes, there's quick fixes, but I'm here promoting long-lasting change. Ultimately, this time is going to pass anyways. What you decide to do with this time is everything. And I think that we underestimate the small things we can do to level up in life. Confidence is a huge one. Going back to the root, why don't you feel that inside? It's because you don't really believe your own word. And that can feel hard. That can feel so disappointing when you say, I'm going to start reading a book instead of going on my phone. And all of a sudden, you find yourself on your phone, and then you beat yourself up and you say, well, anyways, this never works. I might as well just be on my phone. And we put these incredibly difficult circumstances around us for change when, if we learn the formula and we learn how it works in a way that's going to help us and support us, it's the most beautiful act of self-love. And I really hope that through these episodes, you can hear that a lot of what I'm sharing is a mindset shift. A lot of it is all to do with how you see and perceive what you're doing. If everything is coming from a place of lack and you are expecting yourself to fail and you're okay with that, it's natural that that's what's going to happen. And it really, really takes a new mindset. It's taking a new bet on life, because if it hasn't been working for you until this point, why not try something new? Even if you look at this and you think, I don't know, that seems ridiculous to promise to drink 1 glass of water every day and that's somehow going to build my confidence. I'm sitting here today saying that I wouldn't be recording this episode if I didn't start drinking 1 glass of water every day, because that built up me showing up for myself. I'm someone who shows up for other people. I think a lot of us are. We like to be there for others. We like to show up for them. It's our way of showing love. Maybe it's how you show love to your partner, acts of service, whatever it may be. For me, in my personal journey, that's how I show love. I show love by being there, for showing up. And I just never did that for myself. And learning to do that for yourself just gives you just this unparalleled feeling of accomplishment. I now can go into the world, whether I'm in a relationship or if I'm single, and I feel fulfilled. And I think that this is something that people underestimate about having really, really good habits and having things that make them feel good, having a regulated nervous system, having a support system. All of these things are contributing to having an amazing, peaceful life. And it really starts with the smallest steps. So if you're struggling to look in the mirror and say, I love you, that's okay. Start by maybe drinking a glass of water every day. Or whatever small promise you can make to yourself, keep it. Start holding yourself accountable. We're so quick to say to someone, oh, but you didn't do this and you said you would. You promised you were going to, but you didn't. Imagine if you held yourself that accountable. We are so quick to project how we feel. It's time for us to go inwards. It's time for us to take a moment and think about our actions, our feelings. You'll hear me say this more than once, but also be gentle with yourself. This is a learning process. It's okay. It's not supposed to just happen overnight. Life would be so boring if we had everything figured out. I urge you to take a step back. Look at your life. Mindfully move. Move things out the way, move things in place. It's all in your hands. You're the complete creator of your life. And the more confidence you build, the more you actually don't care what people think. And that's a key aspect of discipline. It's like this ripple effect. And just starting with the basics is how you're going to get to the more advanced level, let's say, of not giving a shit. Like, you really don't care at one point. You get to the point where you're so confident in your actions, your habits, your feelings. You know yourself. You're going inward. You're doing the work. And it doesn't really matter what's going on the outside. And I think that that's a good place to be. It feels settling. It feels good, especially for people who've come from environments in childhood or negative relationships where everything has felt really unstable. You can build that stability, but you have to build it within yourself first. Because if you don't do that, you'll also be attracting what you've always known. So go inwards, take your time, show yourself love through discipline, and be gentle on yourself. And as always, I'll have more information in a blog post about this, so please feel free to read up. If you have any questions,